beat 2, 3, 4. Means we go to Seattle and catch up with our buddy, Niko Moreno. What cup of coffee are you on? What is the mug? What is in it? Oh, he went red green this morning. Okay, I see how this works. It's a match day, so he's dialed up. I see how this works. I do want to talk a boatload of Leagues Cup with you, and
Yeah.
we got transfer news. We got all these kinds of things. We're out of the group stage in the round of 32. We had 2 matches last night that we had winners. One was a team out of Los Angeles. The other was not a team out of Canada. So out of the group stage, what are some of your takeaways about what did or didn't happen in the group stage here with Leagues Cup?
All right. First of all, hello to my SDH family. Cup number 2. Nice little Colombian roast here. Yeah, I mean, Leagues Cup was fun, was entertaining. Probably the thing that stands out the most is a little bit off the field. It seemed like a lot of the atmosphere just quite wasn't there. Maybe a lot of the attendance. I've heard mixed reviews about it. Some people saying that the attendance went up from last Leagues Cup. Some that it hasn't been great. It looks, I mean, to the blind eye, and it's tough to really gauge exactly numbers because there are numbers of tickets sold. There's numbers of tickets, seats in butts and seats. There's like a whole bunch of different things that maybe I'll be looking into, at least for the Sounders at some point, and seeing what the difference in those numbers were. But the reality was that, places like Atlanta, that's usually unbelievable atmosphere. What's a couple of games, it wasn't really there. The Sounders, just the last game, there was no capo, there was no drummers. I mean, that kind of thing stands out for a crowd, a atmosphere that usually is pretty vibrant. I heard that ECS wasn't doing necessarily any sort of boycotting, that it was just volunteers weren't there for this one, and they usually are volunteers for TIFOs, volunteers for a whole bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there. I like the tournament, entertainment-wise. I think that Mexican teams got a little bit of their own medicine, and coming into a tournament where they're just getting started with theirs, maybe put things more in a balance. And we got a lot of the gigantes or the grandes from Mexico out. Chivas was a surprise to me that they got out the way that they did, especially in that group. Monterrey was absolutely surprised that they got out. Tan Ortiz was a casualty of that happening. He's out of there. I think that a lot of MLS teams have done well, especially maybe using this as a spark to reignite their own season overall. I'm talking about San Jose, who I did not expect in this stage of the tournament. I'm talking about Austin, who, I mean, they went out swinging. So, yeah, I think it's been a fun tournament for sure.
Have you seen in Seattle, and you mentioned the lack of fan engagement, have you seen there's been backlash with some supporters groups about ticket prices, not a fan of Leagues Cup, boycotting Leagues Cup over, going to Open Cup, those kinds of things? What has the response been? Has it been tied to any of those, or is it just it's an extra ticket and I don't have the money for it and I'm not going? I mean, what's the vibe up there that you've been able to gather?
Yeah, there's been nothing official or formal from anybody from ECS in terms of boycotting this specific tournament, but there has been a broad amount of comments from a lot of season ticket holders, ECS members, that the ticketing was just too high, that this tournament's not really as interesting as they would like, and this team right now maybe isn't playing at the level that they're used to. Some have even went on to say that maybe they feel like the team has been less committed to them, less committed to success by not bringing in more players. So I think that there's been a variety of things that kind of have created the perfect storm. And still, there's still more like crowds, bigger crowds than other stadiums. I think the last one was 26,000, at least the number they reported.
Oh.
But I think that there is a combination of things between a lot of people not really being interested in this tournament. The matchups that were out here didn't help, right? Necaxa is not a gigante or even a mid-table team, a mid-popularity team. I mean, when I went to the Necaxa game, I saw more Cruz Azul and Club America jerseys on the stadium that I did Necaxa. I mean, they just went to watch a Mexican team. And then the fact that, of course, the team isn't playing brilliant, entertaining soccer. And I think that also had to do with it.
I think that the point that you make about the Liga MX sides and Necaxa not being a grande, and you have Liga MX fans gravitating toward it, but I would imagine you're not going to have a whole lot of Necaxa fans catching a flight to Seattle to go watch a match at Lumen. It means a great deal to the Liga MX sides, this particular tournament, even though there are no home matches currently in Mexico. You mentioned Monterrey, who didn't make it out of group. They were in an elimination match in group with another Liga MX side. They fire their head coach because Monterrey, again, doesn't get out of the early stages of a tournament of meaning. And you're just like, okay, bro, that's it. You're out. I mean, they're taking this stuff seriously. I mean, last year, Tuca Ferretti got fired for not making it out of the round of 32. And now you have what happened with a Grande in a tournament that has no bearing on Liga MX standings. They're like, no, you didn't get out of group. You're gone. It means a lot more, I think, in a lot of different ways. It means more than we may realize to the Liga MX sides.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who says that Mexican teams, Mexican staff members, or Mexican players that are in this tournament don't take this cup serious are either delusional or they are fans that are trying to save face by saying, "Oh, my team got out because they weren't really into it, and they didn't really care, and they rotated." It's a lie. I mean, every single person that I talk to. And all you have to do is look at the games. Look at some of the scrums or scuffles in the games and the red cards here and there. Mm-hmm. And then now, obviously, the casualties after not succeeding within the tournament. I mean, there's clearly an interest overall, and there's always going to be an interest when you put your team in this situation. There is a price, a monetary price. There is obviously a spot into a bigger tournament that's on the line, and then there's just the prestige and the respect of your league that is always going to be part of this discussion. So of course they care, and of course it's important. Tuca Ferretti, obviously last tournament was a casualty. Now Tano, I mean, it's pretty obvious that there is a big desire to go through. I talked to Lalo, the coach of Necaxa, and he was pretty clear about, we want to win this, and they went into this game against Seattle kind of defeated. I mean, or at least people thought they were defeated and they weren't going to make it, and they were supposed to be the team that was going to get out because they were playing in Seattle against the Sounders team that had been in good form, and they beat them 3-1. And he talked about it afterwards. We wanted to win. We wanted to put it all out there. We came out here with an objective in mind, and we got it done. So it's obvious that there is a high level of importance that a lot of teams, Mexican teams, are putting into this tournament.
When we are here in this particular window, we still have about a week left in the transfer window for Major League Soccer. And some big names are now being tossed around. And we'll get into the other moves that have happened. Tim Ream to Charlotte, that broke yesterday during the show. So we finally had some breaking news happen during the show and not like at 11:15 when we're off the air.
There you go.
Tim Ream to Charlotte. So he signs for a 2 and an option for a 3 at the age of 36. You've got Marco Royce and LAG paying $350,000 apparently to Charlotte for the dibs on Marco Royce. I mean, look, I'm to the point where now, I don't like the rule in the first place. I think it's silly that discovery rights.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dibs, basically. That's what it is. It's dibs. It's like you're on the playground, and it's like the Capital One commercial where you're picking the guys for the pickup basketball. I pick Barkley. That's what discovery rights are for me. It's like literally, I'm waiting for an MLS team, and I don't know if discovery rights are ever published. I'm waiting for an MLS team to sit there and just go ahead and knock out like Jude Bellingham. Just go ahead and say, I've got discovery rights on Jude Bellingham. So in 12 years, when he's, 30 or 31 and he wants to come to Major League Soccer, 12 years, now somebody has discovery rights on Jude Bellingham. That's how silly that is to me. That LAG had to pay $350,000. Apparently, I think Fabrizio Romano had the number to get Marco Royce's discovery rights so they could sign him apparently to a deal to go to LAG. And it's another one of those Chiellini year and a half with another option kind of a thing. And I'm sure that there's NIL money that's attached to it to kind of get it over the line. But A, discovery rights are silly. B, they continue to be silly. C, LAG continues to add firepower with Marco Royce. I don't know how he fits in, considering that you've got the killer peas out there. I don't know how Marco Royce fits in, but they went ahead and added another asset apparently.
Yeah, I feel like, let's start there. I feel like LAG are competing with the guys next door, and they want their own big name.
Absolutely.
They want their own big European. But I'm with you. I don't think he's a good fit. And I think that you are, and I believe I said this here before in this same show, that Greg Vanny and LAG are playing with fire in a way that if you're messing with the chemistry of a team that's already moving at a certain pace and they're clearly synchronized, and there's obviously a fluidity to their attacking power, whether it's with the triple Ps, whether it's with Pencil at the 9 and Fagundes playing at the left. Fagundes deserves and has earned minutes and has been fantastic. His ability to just use the inside channels, his ability to score, to link up play, to engage. I mean, everything that the Fagundes has done needs to be rewarded. And now you're going to put him in a position where he doesn't like to be, because he's been there in Austin. He's been there in New England, where he's the guy that took a team from being average to really good. And all of a sudden he's the guy on the bench because somebody else is brought in. Whether he deserves it or not, it continues to happen to him. So where is that going to go? How is the locker room going to react? I feel like it's also assets spent in an area of the field that they don't really need it. I thought that a defensive midfielder, someone else to help you when Bergman's not there. I don't know if Cerrillo's enough at time. Delgado needs help. So I thought that was the part of the field where they were going to bring in somebody with those characteristics, but they didn't. So that's kind of my thoughts on that specific point. And then, yes, discovery rights, they are silly. I've talked to many front office staff to not give up any positions about that sort of thing. And it is kind of odd. And funny enough, although not public, I have heard that there are some European names that you would kind of giggle at least, that are part of teams' discovery rights, because you're waiting and seeing maybe that's going to happen. Maybe that's going to work. Maybe he's looking for a way out sooner than most. And, you do kind of realize that a lot of players from Europe are starting to maybe think about MLS a little bit sooner in their career than in the past. So you do put those names out there and you hope for the best, but it is kind of silly. It is something that I don't know if it'll go away, to be honest, by conversations I've had. So I don't know if they'll adjust it and modify it and make it a little bit more serious. But at this time, I totally agree with you.
And you mentioned names in Europe and LAG trying to keep up with the folks. Let's see, Carson up the freeway, up the 5. Well, because I was trying. It's like, all right, so I've played golf in Carson, and because I have family out there. So full disclosure, I played golf at a cow pasture in Carson that's right next to the Goodyear blimp facility. So literally you go to the 13th hole and you're right up against the fence line and you're teeing off in the tee box. You look to the left and there's a Goodyear blimp. But I was like, okay, so if Carson is here, then where is BMO Stadium? It's up there. So yeah, it's up.
It is up.
LA, with LAG getting Marco Royce on dibs, I'm Griezmann now is being linked to going to LAFC to hang out with the prettiest man in Major League Soccer, Olivier Giroud, and his other buddy, Hugo Lloris. And so LAFC, once again, trying to, with John Thorrington, find your capologist, see what you can do. And I think it's going to be another one of those Chiellini-type deals where you've got NIL and sponsor dollars and other things that will work in on the backside to have him fit in under the cap, but still be part of something where man's going to get paid. They've got to be creative about it, I think, if you're LAFC.
I mean, LAFC went French, man, and they're not afraid to just say it. I mean, I'm waiting for Karim Benzema to maybe come and kick the ball around a little bit with the LAFC team, right? And we saw Olivier Giroud yesterday with Will Ferrell laughing and loving it, and the suite that they had him on, and then he was on the field. That's the LAFC shine, man. And not everybody can say, hey man, you're gonna kick it with Will Ferrell through 90-minute game, and that's just what they have going for themselves. So yeah, Griezmann has been linked to them. That's another player where I don't know where they're gonna fit that many people. I mean, they already shipped Tomas Angel to Phoenix Rising because he was never gonna see the field. Never gonna see the field. So you move him on to Phoenix Rising. I think he was a very good player. I was surprised a team like Seattle didn't take a swing at him on a loan. But yeah, so that is the LAFC way. And if Griezmann come, I feel like Griezmann can still do a lot of things. I mean, no disrespect to Giroud, but Griezmann's a fantastic player and has maybe I feel like he fits in better into the MLS style of play. So we'll see how that ends up kind of playing itself out. But if any indication of the smiles and the demeanor and the body language that I saw from the prettiest man in MLS now last night, I mean, everybody's going to want to come. I mean, you saw the grin on his face. I mean, my goodness, he's happy to be here. He sounds happy to be here. I mean, it just works. So LAFC, to their credit, have done a fantastic job at globalizing their brand, are making that a must-have destination for players in Europe, and everybody's thinking about it, right? It's either LA or Inter Miami. I mean, it just seems just the two places where if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go there, right? I mean, folks here in Seattle took a picture of Griezmann with like a Mariners hat and stuff, and they wanted to see him here. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. He's not coming to Seattle. He's not gonna come to Seattle. If he goes, going to LA, going to the big metropolis of soccer in the moment, and that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it also speaks to just go ahead and open up the salary cap. I mean, you've got to widen the cap, but I think you've also got to give it a floor. So we're not always sitting here looking at LAG, looking at LAFC, looking at Messi and friends, and seeing all of these deals happen. And then, sit there and go wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Sure, you're under the cap. You're winking to the point to where your eye hurts. You're under the salary cap, but once again, it's how you navigate all of these other aspects. I mean, look, when you've got Lionel Messi in a Lowe's commercial, he's moving shopping carts and 2x4s in a parking lot, talking about home, going past dudes about home improvement. That's how you make it up with the salary cap currently being what it is. It's commercials. It's getting your face out there and getting folks to sit there and go, the most handsome man in Major League Soccer is at In-N-Out Burger, and he's eating there. That's how you're doing these things right now until you open up the cap space a little bit. We talk about shiny objects, but then Columbus comes in and you look at what they do and it's not shiny. Yeah, you're going, okay, so Columbus did a Columbus thing, but they're bringing in a defender from River Plate in Andres Herrera. That's not going to get you a whole lot of shine and folks smiling, and you get the gleam from the teeth, and you see Cartman going, "Look at all my money." No, you're not getting that. But Columbus just does something that Columbus does that fits Columbus. We've got a loan on a defender to help them out get over the line again. Crew did a Crew thing, and it seems to fly below the radar because it's Crew.
Yeah, let me just start by saying that as someone who is pro the salary cap, I know that the wink wink sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating, especially for a lot of folks from teams that just don't have that sort of resources. But I also feel like it does obligate and makes teams like Inter Miami have to rely and develop guys like Bright, guys like Alfonso, guys like Taylor. I mean, there's just a lot of players that are on that team that maybe if you opened up the salary cap baseball wise, maybe Inter Miami and Atlanta would turn into the Yankees and the Red Sox, and is a whole bunch of stars, and none of the younger players get a chance to get out there, or at least the players that are developing through the academies. So I think that's why I'm so pro it. Maybe open it up a little bit more, maybe do a little bit of things, but I am pro it. And yes, Columbus, in a very Columbus way, bring a guy like Andres Herrera that's going to be a stud in this league. I feel like he's going to come in, he's going to do work. He's not only a great fit for this particular team, but he's someone that has a lot of potential to come in, be great, some resale value even. I mean, he's only 25, and he is, if you look at the scouting report, he's a guy that does a lot of things right. His ability to come off with the ball, his delivery from the back line. I mean, he's just a Columbus guy. So he's going to be interesting what they do with Camacho and the rest of that already pretty full, pretty talented back line that they have. Now, that's not enough. Well, we'll give you a little bit something else. So we're going to bring DeJuan Jones, another guy that's a good fit for this team that kind of felt like he was being wasted in New England. And now you're going to come in. You have another option there out wide. I mean, Columbus just knows how to shop. They have the structure. They have the coaching. And they don't need to go out there and be the guys that are going to bring in Marcelo at 44 years old to just get butts in the seats. They don't need that. They just need to continue to work, continue to believe in their structure, and they're a scary team. In Miami, Columbus, roster-wise, the best two teams in MLS, in my opinion.
What did you think of Tim Ream to Charlotte?
I thought that was great. Not necessarily what they needed again,
yes,
but you can start it.
Where's the goal scored? Where's the help up top, man?
Where's the attackers? I guess you just want to specialize on what you're already doing right. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a great player because of the leadership he provides, the certainty. He's like a seatbelt that is gonna bend and not break back there. He provides you with another player that coming out of the back in the team that at times suffers there with some of the high press, gives you some insurance in that position, but not necessarily what I was waiting for. Everybody's waiting for the 10, everybody's waiting for the 9 for that particular team, and just wasn't quite there, I guess. There's still a week, like you said, left of the window for them to go out and get somebody. But in general senses, I like it. I mean, I would bring him on my team. I mean, he's showed you at the national team level what he can provide and how good he can be. And having a veteran, experienced player of that caliber does make winning teams and does make championship teams. So if you believe that defense wins championships, then there you go. I mean, you bring in that guy.
And in SEC country, everybody knows about defense winning championships. Tonight, as you take a sip from the mug, as we discussed Leagues Cup, 4 matches tonight. The other 10 are tomorrow, and that gets you ready for the round of 16. LAG and Seattle tonight in the Juiceboxes. Seattle is favored at a minus 116. Your draw is a plus 278 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. LAG to win is a plus 289 of one of the four matches. What do you think?
Oh my God! I mean, that's some great numbers. As I sit with this hat and this mug, I mean, oh my goodness! I might have to go. I might have to go right after this. I mean, that's some great numbers. Look, no disrespect to the home team, and they might just slap me in the face and shut me up tonight and have a fantastic game. But Pepe de la Vega out in this one. Raul Ruiz still out in this one. Um, I don't know if no, I know that they don't match up well with this team. Fullbacks have been an issue, or fullback play has been an issue for the Sounders. They've rotated a lot. It's become a little bit of a rotating door. I would not be surprised if we see Christian Roldan at the right back position in this one, because Alex struggled in the last game. And Reed, a guy that's very interesting and has a lot of potential, really struggled against Necaxa in the last game. When you're going against the Triple Ps and you have a team that is as polished and in sync in transition play and getting the ball out wide, and they just have the goods. But when you have that much firepower up top and specifically out wide, whether it's with their fullbacks, interchanging, doing the overloads with the overlaps, plus the talent they have up top, and you got a guy like Gabriel Peck that seems to just submit you into submission. I mean, he is a guy that's just faster, stronger. He's going to play the ball forward. Obviously, knew who's going to be there today and is going to try to hold him up. Seattle has done well, and Brian was very defensive when he came to how we kind of planted or set up the questions about his team going against the LA Galaxy. He said, whoa, listen, we held him up pretty well in a couple of games. We've been able to limit him. We've made it difficult for him. And he's right. They have done that. I just don't know if they're in the best run of form, and coming in from a disappointing 3-1 loss against the Necaxa cannot be good against this LA Galaxy team. So I just don't think they match up well, and I would take that for sure. I think I would. I know. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I will take LA Galaxy with those numbers, and I myself might go put some juice boxes.
Well, I mean, right now we're almost to the end of your segment, so you can go ahead and dash out before you get to go into Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports. Messi and friends are favored tonight against Toronto. Tigres on the plus side against Pachuca at a plus 102. That one's at Q2 in Austin. You're at 10:30 Eastern time, Sounders and LAG. San Jose and Necaxa. Necaxa is a road favorite at a plus 133. And the Earthquakes are a plus 189 tonight. And then we have the other 10 matches, 3, 6, 9. Yes, 10 matches tomorrow to get us to the round of 16. All right. I know that you got Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports. So what's going on with Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports?
Yeah, Soccer Bar, we're actually not doing a show today. We're going to wait for the rest of the games of the round of 32. You know, we only have two games that we're going to discuss today. So we decided to push that back. We're going to bring it back on Monday with just the entirety of that round of 32. We're working on a couple of really good exclusives for the fans to have on Monday. So just kind of doing the work to give you guys a better show on Monday. And then at Pulso Sports, of course, we're going to have everything that happens there tonight, whether it's the Sounders shocking with their great play and pushing through to the next round, and maybe a player or Brian coming to me and saying, ha, you were wrong. And obviously the interviews, everything that goes on there. Should be a fun game at the very least. So, yeah, that's what you'll get at Pulso Sports.
As always, my friend, it's great to see you on Thursdays to put a bow on the Thursday show and give everybody your perspective of everything Major League Soccer and everything else that's going on in front of us. Be well, my friend. Have a good broadcast and enjoy the match tonight with the numbers that are completely and totally out of whack. And we will catch up with you next week, my friend. I always appreciate it.
No, man, thank you. I appreciate it. It's going to be a fun night of Leagues Cup. I do see Necaxa winning, man. I really like what they showed against the Sounders. Really like their head coach. Seems to really understand how to break down teams and kind of get at their Achilles heel. So watch out for Necaxa. They're interesting.
All right, so watch out for Necaxa. We'll catch up with you next week.
Have a good one.